Hello, swivel heads. A lot's going on right now. Medvedev, the deputy chair of the Security Council of Russia, #2 to Putin, and only #2 because Putin's #1, is threatening to attack Germany, saying that we've got to do something with NATO. There is now Romania is putting up protests because Russian drones have apparently violated their airspace and the attacks on Ukrainian facilities on the Danube. We have the economy on the skids, and we've got crime out the gazoo right now. The crime wave that's going on across the country is getting really bad. A lot of stuff you may not have been seeing, but guys, it's getting rough. And with the economy getting on the skids, it ain't going to get any better, my friends. So batten your hatches, buckle up, and I'm going to go through all this stuff. I'm going to cover all these things, and I'm going to go through a bunch of articles real fast here because today we are we are in a kind of a pickle on this stuff. All right, guys, let's have at it because I just harvested worms today, so late because of that. Pardon me. Oh yeah, I am selling worms again. I got to do a huge shout out for Survival Living channel. I'll start out with that. And I'm behind because I've been gone for a month. I'm still back here paying bills, so pardon the mess, but let's get at it. And I will go through the news for the breakfast coffee crowd in the morning, and then I'm going to look at some of the chat, but not too late because I got to get up early and ship these worms and go to work tomorrow. So, well, I work remotely, but I still got to put in the hours. I got to be on the task. So let's get to it. Let's don't waste any more time. And here we are, guys. And like I said, a big shout out to Survival Living. He featured and did a shout out to our channel, this channel here, over the zombie alert video I did, the alert video on the FEMA emergency alert test coming up. And I was actually losing a lot of subscribers over that video. But when he gave me the shout out, I got a bunch of subscribers from his channel, probably 350 or so. Quite a number of subscribers, maybe more. And the views on it went up quite a bit too. So I was actually falling in the hole, and his shout out really helped out. So I really appreciate him. He's got a great channel here. I need to check this guy out, Survival Living. His channel is almost as big as mine. It ought to be bigger because he covers a lot of stuff here. He's an actual certified outdoor survival instructor. He knows his business. He's got a very level head about it all. And I highly recommend his channel here. If you've not seen it before, go here, subscribe to him. So, subscribe to Survival Living. A lot of good stuff here. Here's some of his latest videos, including, some shout outs he's done for our channel here. That's what this video is. So I'll thank him for that. And I hope to get him on my channel and do an interview with him about some of his survival work that he's doing. Anyway, let's get on the news now. Again, NATO country raises alarm over Russian drones violating its airspace. Pardon me, guys. I got a frog in my throat. Again, like I said, it's Romania, and this had to do with drone attacks hitting Ukrainian territory because, Russia is trying to shut down any grain shipments out of Ukraine, whether it be in the Black Sea or on the Danube. But when they're attacking on the Danube, they're getting really close to Romania. But Romania says that those drones actually violated their airspace. So, guys, we're just on this slippery slope. More stuff is happening. And get this, Russia's Sochi airport smashed by drone. I don't know what you mean really smashed. A single drone's not going to smash an entire airport. But apparently there was a lot of damage done there. And this airport is in Russia proper. This isn't Russia proper. This is, in fact, Sochi, if you might remember, is where Russia hosted their Olympic Games, the Winter Olympic Games, before they went into Ukraine. So this is a major city for Russia. And so this really just ups the ante. There's all this stuff here. Just ups the ante. It's putting us, as we're hitting into Russia, it puts NATO at more risk of getting a hit back from Russia. But get this, so things are escalating with Kosovo. I should have mentioned this in the preamble, because the Serbian forces have troops on the Kosovo border. As you might remember, the United States went into war there against Serbia, a NATO war supposedly against Serbia, several years ago, back during the Clinton administration. And it looks like this is heating up again. So, in fact, so NATO, and including British forces, are really getting on the border there. 600 Americans, it says, troops, and about the same number of British troops and others are going to the border there and getting prepared for something that might go down there. Just how many wars can we be involved in, my friends? Just how much can we support? I'm going to open the chat room here just so I can see who's in the house. And if anybody gives me a super chat, I don't want to miss that. So give me a second, guys. But this is serious, guys. We got our hands full between what's going on in Ukraine, what might happen in China, South China Sea. Something that might go down there. I need to mute that. South China Sea, all this stuff that may be cooking, guys. We are in a real pickle here because we're spread so thin, and this war that's popping up may indeed be a world war. Because look, even Ukraine has been supporting hits on Russian troops in the Sudan. And in the Sudan, they're siding with the Sudanese because actually the crazy thing is in Sudan, the Sudanese have been fighting the Christians. And so this puts Ukraine on the side of Sudan against the Christian forces that are being supported by the Russians, of all things. Now, I'm not taking any sides here, guys, but that is highly weird that they actually was involved in a hit on what's chiefly Wagner forces down there. But Ukraine actually got involved in that. So this war is spreading around. And this is part of the spread. Oops, they don't let me see this. Well, okay, fine, World Crunch. I didn't have this with you before, but this article basically said that asked the question, is this a new theater for Russia's war with the West, with Serbia and Kosovo? Yeah, Russia would love nothing better than for NATO to have another distraction. And so it may be they prompted that. That's definitely a possibility in the scheme of everything that's going on. The more our attention is spread around like, peanut butter thin on a piece of bread, and it wouldn't be crunchy peanut butter either because that's not too thin, the more that we're going to have issues here. Oh yeah, Hunter, if you can always watch this in the morning. So if it's too late for some of you guys, it is late. I totally get that. All right. Yeah, we do have a coffee crowd that's been watching. I've not been putting enough videos on for the coffee crowd, but they typically watch these live videos also. But they are a little bit long for the coffee crowd. That's why we want to hit the news fast. And I'll check the chat more after we get through the news. All right, Medvedev, British troops taken in Ukraine are legitimate targets for Russia. It's a training, I meant to say, not taken. So British troops are training on their equipment inside of Ukraine that the Ukrainians are using. They're actually in Ukraine doing this training. So Medvedev says, oh, you're in there, you're in Ukraine, you're training the guys that are going to be hitting us, you're a target. I don't care if you're British or who you are, you're a target. And that goes for any NATO forces. It's not his first time they've said that. So, like I said, we're on a slippery slope, guys. We're on a very slippery slope that could lead to a direct NATO-Russia confrontation. This could lead to world war. If we're not already in world war, and I will submit we're probably already in world war. And here's another article where he said, we have no option but to confront NATO. I mean, guys, if you don't think that NATO's having a proxy war with Russia, then what is it? I mean, whether you take one side or not, it's hard to see that this is not a proxy war, and maybe a little bit more than a proxy war. And Russia's saying that too. If you think Russia don't see it, they do, and they're saying it, and they're calling it out, and I can't blame them. Guys, when it gets tough, you need to consider prepping. One of the best preps you can do is to grow a garden. Greg, it's not time to grow a garden, it's fall. Well, you can still fall stuff you can plant, guys, like some of this stuff here, some of these greens. But guys, also consider that if the grid goes down, if the balloon goes up, the mushroom clouds rise, you're not going to be able to get any seeds. If you don't have seeds stored away, you're going to be in trouble. The cool thing about seeds as a prep is they're easy to store and easy to transport. So you might want to get your seeds now. Go to True Leaf Market. Use the links I post to go there. All right, guys. Some of you guys might want to, this new day is in the house with us tonight. Some of you guys might take the liberty, if you're a mod, post some of my links if you could. That'd be really nice. So now, something I've been saying for a long time is Russia wanted to basically rebuild the empire they had back in the old days, because that's what they did always from the time of Peter the Great and Catherine the Great, to minimize the area from which they could be invaded. Of course, now that Finland is in NATO, they really lost a lot of that initiative, because there's a whole new border with NATO to the north. So, but this is something that Vladimir Putin spoke to when he went to his Peter the Great ceremony. He basically underscored that and admitted it, and this is what's been coming out. Actually, he has written stuff to that effect. The worst thing that ever happened was the broke up of the Soviet Union, and the worst event in the modern history of humanity, according to Vladimir Putin. And so, they're really trying to get back, not to really Russian empire, or not the USSR, the Soviet empire, but more the Imperial Russian Empire before. That's what they're talking about here. So that's their goal for their own security. Unfortunately, they have to subjugate a lot of other countries that don't want to be part of it get there. So, which isn't fair to them. I think everybody's got a right of self-determination. And see, place an order for worms in the morning. Very good, Derek Wynn, excuse me. Very good, Derek Wynn. Yes. So I'm shipping worms in the morning. Go to greengregs.com if you want worms, greengregs.com. Anyway, Putin's bigger plans, and this is another article on that. Russia's new general allegedly hits at invading Eastern Europe, promising that the war will not stop here in Ukraine. They're really planning for a long war. I'll show you more on that in a little bit. But this is other people making these claims. So there's been several people in Russia that's been talking this. And really, this is probably the most honest thing they've been saying, is what they're saying here. Now, I know people have different sides about this and different opinions about this. What this means is, if they go into NATO, it is NATO versus Russia. We are talking world war. That's what this is saying. This is talking about their plans, which would invoke a world war. And we got multiple people in Russia talking this. And we got Medvedev talking about confronting NATO. Guys, it may be on. Russia defense spending to surge as Kremlin prepares for multiple years of war in Ukraine. Guys, they're not done. A lot of people say, Russia's done or wiped out. Don't bet on it yet. And again, they're putting another 130,000 conscripts in the army. This starts with something as young as 18. Well, we do that too. That's the age that, we drafted people for a long time. So nothing new about that. Hey, I got the seeds. Thank you, John. That's a good thing to do. So, guys, just be ready. This is why we got to be prepared. I mean, we're in very testy times. British jets sent to Poland. Oh, good grief. Already accepted that once. To protect NATO ally from Russian aggression. Poland is really concerned. Poland's building the largest army in Europe outside of Russia and Ukraine to be able to deal with the prospects of an invasion from Russia, and the gaps that Russia wants to fill north of the Carpathian Mountains and south of the Carpathian Mountains to limit invasions from Europe proper includes they would have to go through Poland and part of Germany to get there. So look out, guys. Ukraine situation report. Russia has gained the most ground this year. We always hear in the West about all the gains made typically by Ukraine, but according to this article and the map they put down here at the bottom somewhere, I think. Yeah, it's not coming through right now. I've seen the map somewhere that shows they purport that Russia has actually gained more territory than Ukraine in spite of the counteroffensive. Now, I don't know, guys. Like I said, nearly everything you hear is propaganda, but this is actually not a Russian. Yeah, here we are. Some of the maps are showing. They're showing some of the regions, and they're going. I mean, all these gains from either side this year have been puny, considering all the people they've lost. So I don't know if that's anything to brag about on either side, because they've all made puny gains. But apparently, the Ukrainian forces have broken through the final defense line of Ukraine, Russia, so things could get very interesting and very testy really quick. And Russia is not going to lose this war. That's why I said they might possibly go to tactical nukes. But tactical nukes, you know, Putin's been very reserved about the use of that. I mean, they've crossed several lines you would have thought would have instigated the use of tactical nukes. But of course, tactical nukes, if they go to it, there are sources that claim that NATO would automatically respond. And if in any NATO facility got hit by a tactical nuke, they would respond in kind, probably conventional forces if the nukes were dropped on Ukraine. But if they drop nukes on NATO forces, you can bet they would respond in kind. At least that's what a lot of sources are claiming. Who knows how it would actually play out. Soul to Soul, how you doing? I'm glad you watch all the time. All righty, guys. So Russia may annex more of Ukraine, according to this article. Well, according to what I just showed you, it would be more than just that. So there's a lot of articles out there and a lot of discussions talking about this stuff. Russia intercepts 5 HIMARS, JDAM bomb, and 37 drones over Ukraine in the last 24 hours. So this war is very much a slugfest right now. Both sides have are striking each other. They're striking each other hard. It's devastating for the people on the ground, the people in these countries. I feel sorry for the people of Ukraine and Russia because they're being played against each other. War is awful. There's nothing beautiful or pretty about a war, guys. Russia picked the Black Sea naval fight. Now it's losing to Ukraine, which doesn't even have a fleet of its own. So there's a lot of people making hay over the fact that Russia's taking a lot of losses in their Black Sea fleet against a nation that doesn't even have supposedly a navy. Choctaws 226, thank you for that. From one youngster to another. And Michelle Young, thank you for taking the time to put the news together for us. Yeah, it takes a lot of time to put all this together. Thank you, Michelle. Salute to both of you for the super chats. Very good. Hey, Greg, and Farm from North Carolina. I hope everyone is doing well. And the world is crazy. That's right, Mama Bear. All righty. So appreciate the super chats. That's what keeps us ticking. I think YouTube is starting to run commercials on these live streams. If you see a commercial, tell me. I'm really curious about that. And of course, it might interrupt me a little bit. Since I'm live, I'm talking continuously. In that case, you may have to catch what interrupted on rewind. I don't know. I'll see how that goes. I hope that it's nothing very intrusive. Maybe a sticker at the bottom. I don't know. Iran can produce fissile material for a bomb in 2 weeks. Of course, what was it? 8 years ago, they were telling us they were a month away. Well, now they're 2 weeks away. So in over 8 years, they've advanced their production by 2 weeks. I don't know, guys, but they are close. They're really close. And so this is a whole nother front that could open up in the war, guys. And in fact, you could say Iran's already in the war because they're sending drones to Russia, and you know Israel and Iran are on the verge of tying it on, and we're having hostilities with Iran almost in the over their seizure of oil tankers and things in the Persian Gulf, so in that area. Russians attack Kherson Oblast with aircraft, air raid warnings in Ukraine's east and south. Actually, I should have put that Iranian article later. I didn't sort them right. I guess late here, guys. So there's a real slugfest here. I mean, like I said earlier, it's just one side hitting the other, hitting each other. I'm just showing you some of this stuff to give you. I'm not going to go into great details on this stuff. Russians bombard Sumy Oblast, drop 40 bombs and launch missiles of various types. You see the destruction where one hits a building there, maybe one or more. Russia carries out 99 airstrikes and 40 attack drones over the past day. Just a whole lot of this slugfest stuff, guys. Putin's casualties, nearly 250 in a day, as Russian ammo depots blown up in southern Ukraine. So, you know, like I say, each side is making hits. It shows you some Ukrainian guys on an armored personnel carrier, Wield version. So, yeah, it's rough. I would not want to be on the front lines in this war, I tell you that. And the Russians are taking it hard. Their troops are, in particular. And the people of Ukraine are taking it hard. The Russian Navy has increased the number of its missile carriers in the Black Sea to 3. So even though they're taking hits, they're increasing the number of carriers, and they're putting these 24 caliber which is the name, not caliber like in a like in a nug. And if you've not been on my channel before, if you're new, take the word nug and flip it around. It's my code word I'm using on the platform here. So that these are their cruise missiles that they're using in Russia on these ships. So they've just equipped 3 more ships with these cruise missiles, and they are attacking. Russia deploy equipment and troops in occupied part of the Zaporizhia Oblast, because a lot of people think that the Ukrainians may try to really break through in the Zaporizhia region. I'm going to try to get through these articles fast, because I do have to get up early in the morning. Takes hours to prepare these videos. Russia prepares nationwide drills with nuclear war scenario. Yeah, we got a little phone alert coming up on the 4th, but Russia, the day before, is practicing nationwide across 11 time zones, full-blown nuclear drills. They're not just doing alert, they're exercising all their nuclear forces. Of course, they might, if you were going to launch an attack on another country, you would probably do something like that. What's Nate over in Canadian Prepper channel say? Nate says there's no exercise, there's no true exercises, only World War surprises, because you can't hide your movements these days, because it'll automatically be detected on a satellite. So if you actually want to oppose the attack, you would do it, you'd declare an exercise, and as part of your exercise, you'd actually launch. So could this be something like that? I have a hard time thinking that's what this is, but guys, you never know. You just never know. It could be something brewing. Let's hope not. If it is, our alert's a day late and $1 short, right? Anyway, man, I guess it's nothing to laugh about, but I don't think they're quite ready to launch a full fuselage of nuclear missiles at us, but I could be wrong. U.S. to aid Ukrainian frozen at last gasp drama, or what? Oh, yeah. This is all about the fact that the aid to Ukraine has been frozen. As part of the budget deal, you get a last-minute stopgap 45-day funding into the government. They are, how you doing, Chewy? They are freezing a lot of the money that goes to Ukraine. Now, I don't know if the other money they said it was going to go to Ukraine during the shutdown, I don't know if that's frozen or not, but some of the funding that was planned has been frozen per the Republicans in the House of Representatives. That's where that came from. And just to get it all through the Senate, and even the president has signed off on this. So there is a continuing resolution. It's good for 45 days. And then they start the tug of war and the fighting and hand wringing all over again. Will we have a shutdown 45 days from now? Hey, I don't know. Would it be the end of the world? No. But it is a testy time for things like that. Hey, Cat Daddy. So a lot of stuff is cooking. Trade between Russia and China is booming. So container ships are piling up. Well, they both of them are under sanctions from us, so they're trading more with each other. And they're making up for a lot that they wouldn't have otherwise on both sides. So what we're seeing is the world's really divided between those that are in the BRICS side of the equation and those that are on the side of Washington, basically. Now, it's not all Russia, guys. China's got an island they've encircled that they're practicing landing zone to get ready for taking Taiwan. They're practicing this with a number of so-called civilian transport aircraft or ferries they call roll-on, roll-off ferries. So they can just roll on their vehicles on one side and roll them off the other side. Once they can load them on one side and just take them and go to the beachhead of wherever they want to hit and roll them right off. And I assume these would be amphibious vehicles. Hey, we got Australia in the house. Very good. So too many tough guy movies. Yeah, no kidding. Something I do like to point out is, all these movies where you get guys like, I don't know, several of these actors would stand up out in the middle of the open with a couple of, sometimes they'd be carrying M60 machine guns, they have like under, that's a crew served weapon. It's not an individual one. They have like one under each hand, and they were standing out in the wide open, mowing down guys behind fences and behind little obstacles and barricades, and are just mowing them down as they stand there in the open. That would never, ever happen. That is Hollywood, pure Hollywood. And battle, if you can be seen, you can be shot and terminated in 3 to 4 seconds. So you got a bunch of guys aiming at you, and they're behind walls and barriers, and you're standing out in the wide open, and you're mowing them all down. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. That's part of the Hollywood, you know. It may look great on TV, but when I see that stuff, it's like, oh my God, you know, I know better. Anybody that's been in the military ought to know better than that. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of BS, Jeremiah, no kidding. Like I said, we got a lot of almost everything you read in these articles. I'm not buying anything I'm showing you at face value, because most of this is propaganda. 95% of it's propaganda. But somewhere when you start throwing up both sides, you might be able to find a little wheat amongst all the chaff. But this whole idea with China, we got to take it seriously, because it's not just Taiwan we're worried about here. And also Taiwan is seen where China did a little exercise where they flew one of their military aircraft right under a civilian aircraft, and they called it a Trojan horse flight, because they were trying to hide it. They were trying to shadow it. So they're practicing techniques to actually hit and strike and attack Taiwan. And Taiwan is seeing them. They're also massing forces on the Taiwanese border. Now check out this old junk silver, guys. That's a good way to invest, preserve some of your wealth. Perhaps as the dollar gets flaky, I'll show you Defy the Grid shortly. Good place to go for stuff like that. Elite Ukrainian commandos on jet skis conducted a daring raid on Russian electronic warfare station in Crimea. Jet skis. Well, at least they're innovative. You know, in war, you know, war necessity is the mother of invention. Every war is a big producer of inventions. Unfortunately, why can't we be that smart without a war? That's a sad thing, right? General Sara, how you doing, General Sara? Good name. All righty. South China Sea. Philippines doesn't want war, but will stand up to China's bullying, according to their defense chief. Well, that's kind of what they've been doing a little bit. So that might be where we get into the war. And here's an interesting article that kind of makes a point that I've made in the past. A divided U.S. needs an enemy like Beijing more than it ever did. Isn't that an interesting take? From Alex Lowe, columnist for the South China Morning Post here. So, guys, that's an interesting take on it. But I think it's got more to do with some of our political elite wanting to keep their position, because, you know, we don't usually change horses in the middle of a war. What'd I tell you? It would probably, if we could have something of a limited war between China and the United States, it would probably serve Xi Jinping and our current regime in D.C., the regime in Beijing and the regime in D.C., the state that is buried down what we call so deep. I'm trying to be using some code language here, not to offend the algorithm that has no rhythm, if you know what I'm talking about. Hey, Granny, good to see you here. Johnny Doom. Well, that's a good name for it. Johnny Doom and General Sara. That's a couple of good names for what's going on. U.S. Navy transit narrow strait, and it's not that narrow. It's about 100 miles wide, between Taiwan and China. We will defend Taiwan. That's kind of what they're saying. The message of that is. So we just go through there again. We've been doing that freedom of navigation exercises. Well, China's getting a lot more testy about that. At some point, they may try to shut that down. They claim they're going to do that. They're not going to permit that kind of stuff. Well, how are they going to stop it? Shooting? According to North Korea, U.S. has gone to extremes. So much so that North Korea, so far as I know, is the only nation that's codified being a nuclear power in their constitution. They just added the constitution. So good luck getting them to give up their weapons. That's what, you know, supposedly has been the strategy of Washington, D.C. was to get North Korea to give up their nukes. Well, guys, it don't look like that's happening in any shape, form, or fashion. Kim Jong-un issues terrifying warning of this, vows to create more nuclear weapons. Well, he's not slowing down, so there's nothing new on that. more nuclear weapons, more missiles, more testing. They're just continuously doing that. They pump a huge portion of their economy into that. And, you know, Kim Jong-un is kind of, he's not the most stable character in the universe, if you know what I mean. So that's, you know, look, guys, anybody, look at the child stars in America. You know, if somebody's been a movie star from the time they were a child, their whole worldview is warped severely. And the way they view everything's warped. This guy's the same way. His worldview is warped. He's also the emperor who has no clothes and nobody's going to tell him. So I think his worldview is very, very warped. And that's a risk in and of itself. That is a risk in and of itself. So, guys, you know, it's not just what's going on in militarily. Our economy is got all kind of pressure on it, different things that could send us into a tailspin economically. So we got to get ready, guys. If you're not getting ready for that, what are you doing? U.S. oil prices to skyrocket. It's record highs. You know, so you know what's happened. Our stockpile has been shrinking while China has been stockpiling petroleum. Why would they do that? Do they know something we don't know? They've been stockpiling, buying petroleum like crazy, as we've let our nation's petroleum reserve dwindle at one point to try to keep gas prices down and keep certain parties in more political favor. And who was the architect of that loss in our petroleum reserve? Well, his picture is right here. He instigated that for whatever purpose. Now, you know, there's other things going on. New York City has been flooded. They got 7 inches of rain all at one time there. I showed you that storm hitting them a couple of nights ago. We didn't know how bad it was going to be. Now we know it's just flooded subways and caused all kind of problems there. And there may be other lingering problems. That somebody left a note in one of the chat sessions, one of the notes to one of my videos. I think it was the last live talking about what's going to happen when all the rats come up. Well, that's a darn good question, because you know there is a huge population of rats in all these areas that have been flooded out. All these rats are coming to the surface. What kind of filth and disease are they going to be spreading? What kind of filth and disease is in that water? That water is filthy. And New York is crowded with people. And now the two are mixing. That's not good, guys. That is not good. Let's hope they don't have to deal with that. But guys, you know, you need to really watch yourself in a big city about hygiene. And when it hits the fan, you got to watch hygiene. But guys, I don't know. Don't be in a big city. That's what I tell you. If you want the best thing for prepping is get out of the city. Hey, kittens in the house, very good. All right. Cowering the bunker isn't winning either. Well, if you got radiation around, you got to kind of protect yourself from the radiation, because if you expire today, you can't do something you might need to do tomorrow. So sometimes it's not cowering, it's just protecting yourself from a radiation event. That's the only reason I've talked about going in a bunker. But you can make makeshift bunkers too, guys. I've talked about that. I got a lot of content on one of my survival nuclear war videos. Y'all need to check those out. More content than probably anybody's put in a nuclear war video. I got series of 2 of them. Then I got another couple talking about immediate things to do with Stacy Zavicki. Y'all might remember her. Did several videos of her. Economist Peter Schiff warns the biggest bond market crash in unprecedented financial crises. Guys, our economy is being shaken from so many different directions. There's so many things that it's just like an elastic band that's stretched all the way to its limits. So where's it going to pop at? What's going to happen? Johnny Doom, small town, SE, Missouri. That's a good place to be, a small town. NYC rats sure do like pizza. I bet they do. You wouldn't want them chewing on a pizza you want to eat. I wouldn't want to eat after a rat. No, sir. Anyway, guys, BRICS reviewing global payment system to bypass U.S. dollar and circumvent the SWIFT bank, which is the main perpetuator of our world reserve currency. Our dollar is a world reserve currency. So they're working hard to bring us down. Why are they doing this? Because having the dollar as world reserve currency is what's permitted us to do all the debt spending we've done. It's permitted us to finance our military and to sanction countries all over the world. Unfortunately, we used our dollar a little bit too much as a weapon, and it ticked a lot of countries off. and now they're teaming up against us and taking, they're trying to take the dollar down. And that's what you got to worry about, guys. BRICS, top oil producer, ditches US dollar and accepts only local currency. So, guys, here we are. It's starting to happen. Of course, this is Gazprom, which is a Russian company. But they previously, like all the rest, were accepting dollars. Now there's not, nope, we won't even take a dollar. Can't pay me in a dollar. So, yeah, breathing is a good thing. I hope you're breathing well, Granny. Anyway, and this is sad news right here. Bankruptcies are rising, first time in over 13 years. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out why. And I might know something about rocket science, right, guys? Oh my gosh, bankruptcies are really soaring, guys. So this is what I'm telling you, our economy is in a bad pickle. The new default cycle has commenced. Bankruptcies likely to rise as high rates by, talking about the interest rates. Guys, the price of housing is gone astronomical. The price of automobiles is astronomical. The price of fuel is astronomical. They tell you the inflation rate is what, 3 or 4%. Yet look at the price of food. What's it gone? 30%. But also not just the price has gone up, but what you get's gone down. I used to get these big boxes of fried chicken from local Publix here, and they used to have just be full of chicken, and they were like $6, and then it went to $7. Well, now that chicken, they got legs about this long, the tiniest little leg, and I had a breast today and one about that big. So you kidding me? You can almost get that off of quail. What are they slaughtering quail and calling them chickens? I mean, there's so little meat. I used to make 4 meals out of a box. You know, you'd be hard pressed to get 3 now, and then you go hungry. And you're paying $10, over 10 now, for something that just, I don't know, 3 years ago was $5. It's crazy. Inflation is going up in the world of food. And crime is also going up, but part of it is due to gang members and people coming across that border. But that's not the only reason. It's also because Soros is, he's funded DAs, district attorneys, and got a lot of them elected and appointed. And he's supporting DAs that want no bail situations. So criminals can commit a crime and get turned loose immediately. What happens when you turn the criminals loose and you open the borders wide open? What's coming across the border? We got all these Venezuelans coming in. There's a lot of people who rightfully want to get out of Venezuela. It's an oil-rich nation, should be rich, but it's communist. So, of course, the economy is broken. And these people, some of them are coming up because of economic reasons. But Venezuela just opened their prisons. Like, why should we pay to feed and take care of these people? Let's just open them up, the prison doors, and send them north. So that's what we're getting. Cuba did that to us at one time. There's a lot of good Cubans that came up here to the United States, so they can't stand communism. The Cubans. I don't know how the Venezuelans are going to be about that, but gangs of illegal migrants, immigrants from South America are committing burglaries on upscale homes in Michigan. Well, it's not just Michigan, guys. Apparently, they gained up. Everyone's so freaked out. Armed robbery crews sweep city of Chicago police force task force struggle with brazen crime. So they form gangs, they form crews, and they're going around and attacking people in various cities, Chicago being one of them, and cities like that in particular. What's the chief thing about Chicago? Well, you remember the old adage of when guns are outlawed, only outlaws will have guns? Well, that's what you got in Chicago. You got a bunch of outlaws with guns, and nobody else is allowed to have them. Well, when the outlaws got the guns, what are they going to do? Anything they want to do, that's what. So they're ruling. So, oops, I'm not using my code word. Hope I don't get in trouble. But war is going on all over. I meant to put this back to the war stuff. 29 countries at war right now, guys. There's a lot of pages to this article. I'm not going to go through. 29 countries in the world are at war. Anyway, going back to the crime spree. Residents alarmed as shoplifting incidents trigger store departures. So what's happening? All over the country, various stores are closing because they're getting, people are getting robbed. What's that do? Well, if you're in a community, that means your ability to shop is now limited. You can't go to that store and buy things that you might want or need. clothing, whatever it be. And, you know, I'm not going to shed a whole lot of tears over Target. It's not exactly my favorite. Thank you, the Vintage Mom. I should have said Nug. Shame on me. Yikes. I hope I don't get in trouble. But anyway, so this is what's happening, guys. But not only are your shopping and community standards dropped, but employment goes away. What happens in these communities where all these stores are closed and employment goes down because all these people that work in that store have lost their job now. Now they're jobless. Now they're on the verge of going homeless because they're got those high mortgages and high car payments, and suddenly they don't have employment. What do they do? What do they do? How do they adjust? The whole community is in a downward spiral because you let the criminals run free. You know, they're being told now in some areas in Los Angeles, well, if you're stealing less than $1,000, that's okay. You know, there's actually a video of the riots in Philadelphia while they're robbing iPhone stores and clothing stores. And this woman saying, "Oh, people gotta eat. People gotta eat." She was saying that on the video. They weren't stealing stuff that they're eating. They're stealing luxury goods. So you got to be kidding me. Well, people got to eat. That's the excuse. No, it ain't nothing to do with eating. It's got to do with thuggery and just lack of law and order. Police forces in some areas are told to stand back, to not engage the criminals. Can you believe that stuff? Hey, Vegas, good to see you in the house. I staked my porch out. There you go, Corey. Well, I got something here. Innocent people are being hunted like prey in Chicago. Even you know, I think actually a Democrat is shedding something on that. But here you go. Two can play this game. Oakland smash and grab crew chased away by bystanders with batons. Well, that's the biggest weapon they can have in law-abiding people, I guess, in California, huh? Batons. Well, what happens if the outlaws got what outlaws often have? They got the nugs and you got a baton. Don't take a baton to a nug fight. But if it's not a nug fight, you might succeed. But so a lot of people are getting ticked off. They're standing up. They're tired of their communities being destroyed by this open, brazen crime. Hopefully, a lot of these communities will wake up and get the woke out of their communities. They'll vote to woke out. But look at this, guys. Trump says looters should expect to be what if he takes office in 2024? Well, guess what? He got a standing ovation for that. He got a standing. People were cheering him wildly for saying that. That's how fed up people are with what's going on. Now, this was viewed as something, you know, the media just said, "Oh my God, you know, this guy needs to be stopped." Well, he's just talking what the people are feeling. He got a huge cheering section. Now, you know, that may not be the right answer, but something's got to happen. You know, there was a time when that was permissible, especially if it come into your house. You know, go full caveman. Well, I do believe in a castle doctrine. You know, your home's your castle. You got the right to defend it. Nobody should be coming in. But don't be stupid. You know, I've heard the stories of somebody having a car wreck and getting injured and beating on somebody's door. They're hurt or injured. And some person in the house just goes out and bangs them. You know, guys, always know before you point a weapon, before you pull a trigger, know the target. Understand what's really going on there. Don't just react out of sheer emotion, panic, and fright. Use your brain, okay? Because if you're not using your brain, you're no better than whatever else might be going on. There's been a lot of innocent people that have been taken out by knuckleheads that aren't using their brain. They just get scared right off the bat. So think. I believe in right of defense, but I also believe you need to be responsible and think about what you're doing, because that may not be required to go to the nth degree on that stuff. But then again, you got to defend your home. But you know, what happens when somebody's injured and they're hunting help? You know, pay attention, size the situation up. Don't just go, "Oh, somebody's beating on my door. Oh my God, bang, bang, bang." No, don't do that. But that's happened. Don't forget about the God particle. God's at the poker table as well. All righty. So shocking number of Europeans say you should only be able to fly 4 times in your life. See where they're going, stuff? They don't want you traveling. They don't want to put you in a 15-minute city. Then they're going to make it a 5-minute city. They want to restrict your travels because it's terrible for global warming. But that's also the ultimate way to control everyone. So tell me, I like to see everybody who has traveled more than 4 times, put a 1 in the chat room right now. Just put a 1 in the chat room. If you've already traveled 4 times or more, put a 1 in. If you've never traveled by air 4 times, put a 2 in. I like to see where people are in their travels already, because this might say, well, none of us can fly. I've definitely flown a lot more than 4 times, quite a bit. So, you know, it don't say how far, it's just how many times. You know, this is ridiculous, guys. So here's what you got to worry about. It's not plant food that we're putting in the atmosphere, it's plastic. Plastic's got chemicals in it, banned hormones. Yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of 1s now. Sure, lots of people flown more than 1 time. Oh, so what did Derek Wayne say? I want to see that. We need to fight legit corruption instead of one another. You're right. You're right. Absolutely. Well, we got a couple people haven't traveled. A few people haven't traveled more than 4 times, but you know, anyway, 3 times more if you count helicopter. Hey, they didn't say what kind of flight. I wonder if that counts taking a flight out of a tall window in Russia. Of course, that's your last flight typically. All right. America's worst school massacre involved no nugs. No nugs. The biggest, that's something they don't tell you. That's something I'm not typically going to see or hear. The Bath School Massacre. The Bath Township, 100 miles northwest of Detroit. Have y'all heard of this? This guy, he bombed the schools basically. This is back in like the 1920s or something. When was this? So I can find it. 500 pounds of dynamite. They found 500 that didn't go off, but he took out a lot of people. So 18 May 1927 is when that took place. Kent State, no, that had some nugs involved, but those were from the government side. Those are government nugs. New EV battery requires so much energy, a coal-fired power plant will be expanded to delay the closure of the electric vehicle battery plant. Oh, Lord. So those places you've flown, Denmark and Germany. Never been in a plane. Okay, Alan. Sweden. Well, some people haven't. Okay, this is what the thieves need. This is the perfect medicine. And we're kind of getting through here in a hurry. I'm trying to get through in a hurry here. Philadelphia thief unknowingly steals shop vac filled with hundreds of angry hornets. Well, don't you know he got a surprise? Well, this beekeeper actually had a shop vac in the back of his truck, and it so happened the hornets made a nest in it. Some thief saw the shop vac and grabbed it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, that's what a thief needs. Grab a nest of angry hornets. I bet he got stung by that sting. You know, stilling's a sting, I guess. So anyway, all right, guys. Now, sometimes you got to know how to read articles. Sometimes the most interesting thing about an article is not the headline or what the article says, it's what the article implies. Roll Tide. There you go, Sharon. So knowing how to read something matters a lot. Crime doesn't pay. There you go. So in here it says, Texas water levels are so low as rarely seen. Underwater cave and centuries-old ruins have appeared. Now, the focus of this article is the low water, the water shortage. But I read something else out of this. I'm reading, they found a community. they found where people were living in this cave in an area that's been flooded for a long time, for over a century. What's that mean? Over a century ago, the waters were low. That's what that means. It means that this is not something that's never happened before, like a lot of people like to insinuate. Oh, my God, this has never happened before. The world's coming to an end because of this, that, or the other. There's all this panic stuff. Well, what's this say? This says we've been here before. See, that's not what this article tells you outright, but that's what I read when I read it. Same way when you had last summer over in Europe, a lot of rivers were drying up. What were they found in? Villages. Villages and where the river was, because at some time in the past, the river had been lower for a long enough time for people to have built villages, which says an extended period of time. And then later it flooded over and washed those villages out. This is the same kind of deal here. All right, I like to get humorous with this stuff a little bit sometimes. So in the same vein, states with the highest STD rates, out of control epidemic. Uh-oh. Something to watch out for, guys. But where are these states? Bible Belt. Well, what I read between the lines here, a lot of hanky-panky in the Bible Belt of all things. Well, whatever that means. Holy smoke, guys. Wow. All right, earthquakes. We got a new one there. That's a big one, too. Look at that. 5.0 Bon in the Banda Sea. Remember Aceh that set off a big earthquake and caused a flood throughout Indonesia and India that take out so many people on Boxer Day back a few years ago. That's the day after Christmas. So look here. Wow, we got a whole bunch of them right here off southeast Japan. We missed earthquakes here for in the Woes Islands. There's another one. That one's a 4.6, but there's a bigger one, a 5.1. Bonin Island, well, it's the same area roughly. There's a 4.5. Look here, north of New Zealand. You know, now they're saying this is the 8th continent. They discovered that this land, there's a submerged area of continental shelf-top land. It's not like ocean floor. Right here, something used to be a continent that sunk. And there's a lot of, you see earthquakes in this area a lot. Fiji, look at this, guys. This place is rocking. There's just tons of earthquakes here. All around Fiji, apparently. And Tonga. Remember Tonga, whatever that big undersea volcano was? Yeah, it's all in this area. That was like the biggest explosion since Krakatoa. Now look here on the Sandifuka plate. It is rocking there. Let me zoom in on that. People worry about this area because it might have some pretenses to this fault line going off, which could set off a major tsunami in Seattle, Vancouver area. Well, there's two earthquakes right here, one right on top of the other, right at that point. And that's one of the most common places from the curves, right in this point where this Sandifuka plate meets the San Andreas, or whatever it is at that point. And then it becomes the Cascadia subduction zone. There's one. Chewy Weather's taking a lot of interest in this area. Is he still with us? He had to get up early. Atlantis, Lemuria. Yeah, Chuck Norris Gun Club, that may be Lemuria. Well, we got one right in the middle of Texas here, looks like. Hermley, Texas. And Puerto Rico is always rocking. Quite a few up in Alaska right now. That's up close to Nome and Ketchikan up here, right? Kotzebue, I mean, not Ketchikan. Ketchikan's down there. Kotzebue and that area. Teller, Alaska. Valdez. That's close to the oil pipeline. And we got one in Yukon Territory, looks like. Carthy, Alaska. I mean, it says Alaska. That looks like it's in Canada from the map. I don't know. You tell me. Maybe the dot is off a little bit. So let's zoom out again. Well, having earthquakes down here off Chile is no surprise. There's a big one right there. 5.1, South Sandwich Islands. There goes Sandwich Islands and have a sandwich. All righty, guys. Yeah, that's a whole lot of earthquake. We got to look here. This is on the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire is rocking, guys. It's a rocking. Anyway, yeah, we're getting through these articles quick tonight. A lot of weather going on. Our Figel talks about Cascadia all the time. Well, that is something to be concerned about. Yeah, Atlantis would have been in the, through the Straits of Gibraltar, but some people have maintained it's the eye of the desert down here. You'd gone through the Straits to get around to it. So, a lot of claims in that regard. Alrighty, guys, we got some circulation here that's not really formed up yet, like we thought it might have a couple of days ago. It should still form up into something ugly right here. Could get some more weather off the East Coast due to this system. Let's zoom in. New Days is not with us right now. Still like to check Maine and see what it is up there. Patton is 50 degrees. Edmonton's 50. It's warmed up a little bit. New York is 64. Utica 55. Pittsburgh 61. Detroit Rock City is 61. Grand Rapids is 62. I've driven between them with the ground covered with snow up there. Columbus is 61. Indianapolis 62. So 60s all. Getting a little further west, it's getting warmer. 70s up here in Iowa. Minnesota, St. Paul 71, Morris 75, Walker 73, Duluth 71, Fargo, North Dakota 77. Look up here. In Manitoba, a lot of storms up in Manitoba. You got some storms and here, Sudbury 62. Montana 46. And Great Falls, Missoula 41. That's a pretty area right there around Missoula. Been there. Spokane 48. Seattle 52. Got some 40s up in here. Eugene, Oregon. It's true weather still in the house. 50. 53 in Portland. 41 in Bend, Burns. I got the 40s. 50s in California. 50s and 60s. Lost Angels is 57. Send it. Lost Wages is 61. Flagstaff is 44. Utah. Salt Lake City 46. Richfield 44. Zoom in on Arizona. Phoenix is 73, Tucson 71. That's kind of a comfortable temperature right now. Snowflake 59 degrees. Now here, Show Low is 55. Show Low is up a little bit higher. You get trees back up in this area. I went to farmer's market in Show Low and met a lady there with one of the booths, and she looked at me and said, "You're Green Greg's, aren't you?" I said, "I am." Kind of smiled, and she says, "I was wondering why you kept talking about a snowflake on your videos late at night." I said, "Well, here I am." All right, Alamogordo, 70 degrees, been there a few times. Las Cruces, 75, been there a few times. Roswell, where the aliens like to crash, is 73. I say it facetiously, like to crash. Nobody likes to crash. Planet Houston, 79, as is San Antonio. Dallas is 75, Mineral Wells, 77. Oklahoma, I spent a couple nights up there recently. Tulsa is 73. I assume we get somebody here for Tulsa. Poor rain. You ain't got much rain. All right. We're going to go up to Alberta and Alaska here in a minute. Hunts Patch, 68. Hey, it's actually warmer up in Ardmore. How's Hunts Patch? How does Hunts Patch get to be cooler than Ardmore? Usually out in the country, it's cooler. That's interesting. So I'm somewhere between 70 and 68, theoretically. Chattanooga is a devil of a temperature at 66. Montgomery, 70. Macon Bacon, 66. Hot Atlanta, 64. Yeah, it's pretty cool all over. So we're getting toward autumn. We're heading toward autumn. The trees will probably all be turning leaves here real soon. Ogden, it's been a few nights in Ogden, quite a few, 43. Quite a few nights in Ogden. All right. Arnold, we're coming up to Alberta. Of course, he lives by centigrade, and I'm looking at this in Fahrenheit. But yeah, 40s mostly. Except Calgary's 37. Wow, over here 23. 34. A lot of variation. Slave Lake is 50. Go north and get warmer. At some point. Of course, you get down here, you're in the mountains. That's why it's cooler down here. That's in the mountains. All righty. Yukon Territory, Fort Nelson, 41. Now we got some snow up here. Juneau's 43. Everybody from Alaska in the house tonight? Valdez, 41, where they had earthquake. Cordova, 47. Anchorage, 43. This is what I call the banana belt in Alaska. Seward, 41. Look at all this snow. Alaska Ranges right here. It's snowing good in Alaska Range. Delta Junction, 35. I'm surprised it's that warm. Fairbanks, 35. I don't know what's going on these days. Alaska just don't get as cold as it used to. But in the ice age, Alaska was ice free. So I guess when it's warmer there, and that's something I always noticed. Like when it was warm in Alaska, it might be colder in Birmingham, Alabama. It's cold in Birmingham, it'd be warm in Alaska. When it's cold in Alaska, it'd be warm down here. Barrows, 34. Okay. Well, let's go down and see how our friends down under are doing. We have somebody, no triangle. Ham, thank you, Ham. Ham, 37. Sally, thank you for the super chat. I am most appreciative of that. There's an interesting storm line. Probably a good squall line out there in the Pacific Ocean. I appreciate you, Ham. We're trying to find Australia. Oh, we're down in Indonesia now. There's Australia. WWIII, 91. It's springtime in Australia. Wow, Tennant Creek, 100 degrees. That's out in the desert. Valgo, however you say that, 100 degrees. Alice Springs, 97. You know, that's the science. They got a lot of science stuff in Alice Springs. They launch balloons in Alice Springs, like balloons I used to launch rockets from. Canberra, the capital city, 79. Sydney, 68. Perth, 61. Brisbane, 75. That's where the people are at. Sydney and Perth. Melbourne, maybe. All right. Hobart is Tasmania. There's a Tasmania devil down there, 64. Burnie, 55. New Zealand's got some snow. Look at that in the mountains. Christchurch is 53. New Plymouth is 57. Dundee is 40. So you got this wind blowing in here. So this part is warm and this side's cold. That's interesting. Most interesting. Keep calm and carry on mentally as slick as a duck. There you go. Paddle like heck underneath and don't let anybody sit on the top. That's what I told people when I was running the conference. I said, guys, you got to be like ducks. Paddle like all heck below, but look smooth on the top. All right, we got to go check out England. We always got somebody from England in the house. Show maiden or somebody. Taz. Oh, it's in the 50s. London's 59. Scotland's 52. Hull's 53. Dublin, Ireland's 52. Dingle's 55. It's all 50s. Germany, 50s. Well, 61 in Hamburg. A lot of 50s in France. 50s in Madrid. A few 60s around. Warsaw, 53. Kiev, 55. Moscow, 52. Minsk, 50. That's some of the capitals around there. All right, we're about done with this part of it. Where's Siberia? So what kind of temperatures you got? 30s, nothing crazy in Siberia. 26 here. Yeah, nothing shocking. All righty. Space weather. What's up in space? Everything. Actually, there's no up or down in space. What they're showing us here is the sunspots in the northern hemisphere of late have been a lot stronger than the one in the southern hemisphere. Oops, I need to do that. I got a chart here to show you. In this cycle, 25, red is for the northern hemisphere, exceeding. Yes, but anyway, you can see that these different charts, this happens from time to time, that one hemisphere will lead the other. A lot of sunspots, but no major big ones, which is probably good. They're telling us that chances of flares are good today, but the aurora is active, but I don't see any yellows in it. Ringleg has some worms. We can make worm bacon. There you go. Actually, red worms have a nutty flavor to them. Some people will dry them and use them as a substitute in cookies and brownies as a nut substitute. All right, for you flat earthers, the International Space Station has been photographed many times over the past 25 years, transiting across the face of the sun or the moon. Means it's on our side, between us and these other objects. And I don't know, you know, these flat earthers believing there's a gigantic balloon holding this stuff up. You couldn't make a balloon big enough to hold up the International Space Station, guys. That's crazy. I know all about balloons. And you don't see any balloon in these photographs. All these flat earthers come up with stuff like that. And amateur astronomers take a lot of these pictures. A whole lot of amateur astronomers get pictures of these transits. So it's not all NASA. People, NASA this, NASA that. Well, there's a lot of people involved in space and space monitoring that don't have anything to do with NASA. So get off that NASA crap. All righty, asteroids. All right, we're here at 1 October, which is almost gone now. Now we're 2 October now. So looking down through here, there's nothing major that we know of that's coming between the Earth and the moon soon. There's another channel. It gives his annual asteroids are about to whop us videos again. He's been doing it for a long time, every year. He's got inside sources. Yeah, right. I would fire those inside sources if I were him. He has not been right. I did a video saying, no, it's not going to hit us right now. And who was right then? That was a couple of years ago. Anyway, Freedom Restoration Foundation. Some of you guys are new to my channel here because we just got a bunch of subscribers from Survival Living. Thank you, Survival Living, once again. So you might want to check out Freedom Restoration Foundation. We've also got look it up on Facebook and join on Facebook. We don't really take memberships because we're not collecting money because we don't want to be governed by the IRS. But we put alerts out, and I got to get a webmaster on here who can update the website. I had somebody volunteer to do that, but that's before he got into my taxes and my travels, and I got to go backtrack and find this guy. But we put a lot of data in these alerts, telling you things to do, how to do them, how to take action. One of the best things about this website is you can come up here and go to the Action Center page and scroll down below these alerts. There's all kind of information down here about how to contact your Congress critters, your state representatives, how to find them, how to track bills, how to find out what's going on your state legislator websites. So how to find your state legislators, find out who your senator is, your member of the House of Representatives. Tells you about sending emails, calling, writing, what to write, what to say on the phone, And here's all these links and all the data for how to contact them, including the Capitol Hill switchboard. Check that out, guys. All that information is in here. And WWIII, who's I don't think in the house right now, spent a lot of her own personal money to set up her Survival Tribe Network website. You can join, but you also come in here and click on these different things, and they give you a lot of advice. Water for preppers. A lot of good survival information available on this website, but not only that, you can join. The whole purpose of this is to entice you to form a community, survival communities. Just know you need to vet your community out. You join this, you can use a moniker like WWIII, that's not her name. That's how she joined it. So you don't have to put your exact detailed data in here when you join it, guys. It's just important people know what general area you're in so they can contact you through this system. And I'm not really signed in right now, but they can contact you and y'all can meet up and start communicating and see if y'all are a fit to form a survival tribe community. That's what you need to be working on now, forming your communities, guys. And once again, hey, I am selling worms. In fact, if you go to the home page, this is where you're going to go when you first come in. There's me with my microgreens. That's some of the worm beds. Click here to the buy worms. Come here and buy worms, or you can donate. I just harvested 22¼ pounds of worms today. Alrighty, guys. That's enough of the websites. Stop the share. Hello. I'm gonna read through the chat here real quick. It's almost 3 o'clock. I got to get up early and I got to ship these worms and get back to work. So asteroids. Hey, Corey. Has anybody seen an ad running this video? I heard YouTube is going to start running ads and live sessions. Some of them, I don't know how they're doing that. So y'all tell me in the chat if y'all seen an ad. I'm going to scroll. I'm down here as high as I can go back to the scroll section. It won't go all the way to the beginning. All right, I saw the rats and the pizza comment. Or choice to travel to, Hades. Let's see. I'm coming to your house, Greg. I'll build and count worms. There you go, Jeremiah. All right. Let's see. The one who's scared the HE double hockey sticks out in Boston. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Out of the Bosch with WWIII. I don't know what you're saying there. Rosemary Diesel here. Where I live in Oz is $2.24 a liter. That's pretty high. Pretty darn high. Doesn't Bricks want the AU to be valued at over 9,000 per ounce? Oh, I bet they would like it because they have amassed a lot of it. If it goes up to that, woo-wee, well, it might. As the dollar goes, their stuff might float up because they've been hoarding gold. They're buying it like crazy. Bankruptcies are part of you'll own nothing and be happy. Devin, you're on to something, Devin Steve. That's also part of getting people out of their houses and mortgages. The banks will buy it, take over possession of them for nothing. BlackRock will take them and then they'll rent it back to you. People that are pushing the communist agenda think that it's all going to be one level field and there'll be no private ownership. You will own nothing. But BlackRock, State Street, and what's that other one? BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard, they're going to own everything. That on. Because that's what they're doing. And they're promoting that agenda big time. I paid $40 for an 8-piece dinner at Kentucky Fried Chicken. Whoa, see, Shelly, that's crazy. $40 for a Kentucky Fried Chicken dinner? Woo-wee. Wow. Read between the weeds. You're right. Soul to soul. Yes, that's getting crazy. Bigfoot. Okay. John Baxter says, what's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? Is it a monster? Yeah, Bigfoot. There you go. Country may not survive. Focus on your own survival at this point. That's right, Chuck Norris. That is right. Hijacking semi trucks. Oh, Jesse, that's scary. Well, that's going to cause all kind of problems for trucking, for the transportation and stuff. I think it may be all part of the plan. They want to crash the system. They want to crash everything. That's what Soros would like. That way they get to reset. To reset things, you got to break what is already there. It's frustrating, especially when you understand 2040, or take that number and subtract 10 Jeremiah for their agenda, supposedly. Johnny Doom, well, you're stocked and off grid, that's going to help. Get off my lawn is one of the things I've been dying to yell. There you go. Oh, yeah, I just saw where a bunch of homeless people put their tents on somebody's in their garden. In some places, you can't stop them. You get a lot of businesses and a lot of these big cities, if they camp out in front of your business, you can't say nothing to them. You can't do anything. But nobody's going to come in your business and shop. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to close your business. It's putting a lot of people out of business. Not even allowed a baton in UK. Wow, Devin. Can't even have a baton. Wow. You play baseball? Can you get a baseball bat? What about a hockey stick? Hey, a hammer. Hammer time. Dun, 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 dun. You can't touch this. Castle doctrine. There you go. Primal law. Don't forget about the God particle. Okay. Get out of the cities. That's what I've been telling people. Get out of the cities. Yeah, the city is going to be a nightmare place when it hits the fan. Ooh, Lord, nightmare. Frozen paintballs. Oh, Giovanna. There you go. As long as you got them cold. When you fight legit corruption, that's one of the reasons for the Freedom Restoration Foundation. Take things on, use the system against the state that's buried so deep. You know what I mean? Never left my pod, says Stray Kitten. You mean a little pod that you're jacked in like the Matrix movie? We got everybody is just sitting in a pod, jacked up, providing energy to the machine. Except for those few that take the red pill and break out. I want us to see with the climate con in 15-minute series. Well, if enough of us wake up, the success with that may be more limited than they would like. That's why we need to. That's why I bring you this stuff, guys. Trying to help wake people up. Love you, Greg, old man. I will miss you. If I don't hear from you, if we don't have power communication, that's true, guys. The grid goes down. It may not even take that. I put out stuff that some people don't want to be on the net, so they may take me off. Just saying, guys, if I just stuck to gardening only, I might be a safe channel for a while. Then that even gardening promotes independence, so they probably don't like that either. So, anywho, let's see, smiley face. Okay. War Eagle, says Bobby Birch. Oh, you got both sides of the Alabama teams there, Roll Tide and War Eagle. Yeah, it's sad large companies are selling water the way, and they sell it in bottles, plastic bottles, all those chemicals in it. That's not clean water. Bible Belt, always 6'6". That's scary, yeah. Jeremiah. Ring of fire. That's right, Devin. That's what it is. In my shape in Canada, my only chances for force. Yeah, Corey. Star Wars people. Thank you, Jesse, for asking for thumbs up. Appreciate it. We got 158 in the room and only 130 thumbs up. More thumbs up would definitely help us. Canadian girl, how you doing? What part of Canada are you in? We'll ask everybody a little bit where everybody's from. Corey Lee, the Canuck says. Arnold's in Canada. 1902 was the last time. Wow, Jeremiah. You're right, Arnold. The speed's picking up of all this stuff. Choctaw 26. Feels good here in Tulsa. Yeehaw. There you go. Now, pet that dog. That's a good title. Still dark here in Oklahoma, but I'm up thanks to my hounds. Woof, woof, woof. Well, some happy news. New Mexico governor's out. Did she really go? Good. Hey, Mag Rising. Good to see you from Anchorage. I hope she's out. Does that mean I can go through New Mexico and not have to pull all the kibbles out of my nug? You know, nugs love to eat. You have to feed them kibbles. Yes, Corey Lee, raised worms is a great way to make topsoil. It's the best stuff you can ever put in your garden. You recycle your waste and make your garden, and you make worm tea. You can take care of a lot of the pests. Guys, you don't need to go to the store to buy stuff. If you got worms and you're recycling, you can take care of your garden. Oh, Corey, that was scary. Okay. People already rolling where they're from. All right, that sounds good. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Pittsburgh, as usual, says General Sorrow. Tell us where you're from, everyone. East Texas, Bobby Birch. Utah, Ham. Hey, Drops, how you doing? Okay, I guess that's good if her tests come back negative. Drops got a channel on, it's called Drops Family Garden. That's a channel name on Rumble. Check him out. He posted a video, I believe, today. Oh, Wise Owl's in the house. Very good, Wise Owl. We just showed the website for the free Survival Tribe Network. survivaltribenetwork.com. I made preps for canceling my internet service. Yeah, when it may, I'll just get shut down. All right, Northwest Montana. We're going to go here in just a minute, guys. It's late. I got to get up early. Nyman's wife, how you doing? I may be in your neighborhood in a few weeks. I don't know if this job kicks off. Funding for it. Yeah, pet that dog. Oklahoma's okay. Yeah, it is. You know, Oklahoma's, a pretty state actually. Got a lot more trees than what I would have thought before I went through there. This is one of my first time to Oklahoma by a long shot. I'm from a tourist trap. Oh, haven't had a fill in the mill in ages, though, Court. Honestly, if you need to put azomite in your garden, 2 pounds per 1,000 square foot, it contains all trace minerals. Yeah, that's, azomite is one of the best rock dusters. Other rock dusters are good, but azomite is widely recognized as the best. What that does is it returns the micronutrients to your soil that gets depleted, that mainline agriculture never replenishes. That's why everybody in America's got a magnesium deficiency, is modern agriculture just puts the macronutrients in when they fertilize, not the micronutrients. But good organic farmers will add the micronutrients. Another way to do that's wood. wood chips. I try to use a lot of wood chips in my worm beds, but it takes a while to break them down. Garden plants were huge this summer, using worm castings and tea. Compliments of Greg's Worms. Thank you, Wiesel. So I'm telling you guys, worms will do you good. Natural fertilizer from the trees coming down now. There you go. Put that in my worm bed. Make it a scan family. Thank you, Greg, for all you do. Good night. Well, at least I'm just kidding. I'm past my Ed Gaines danger point. All righty. Guys, we're going to call it a night. It's late. I got to go. I got to get up really early. So we're not going to do everything we normally do here tonight. And we got the video down. We'll try to get down below 90 minutes tonight for a change. So 2 hours. It start late. Ran worms today. Used azomite. Yeah, I've used azomite. Azomite, blood meal, and bone meal. Those are all good things to add to your garden. Worm castings. Or if you got worms, throw some wood chips in, let them compost down for a while, then throw them in. Takes a while from the compost down enough, though. It takes quite a while, depending on how arid your area is. It can take even longer. All right, folks. Hey, thank you, super chatters tonight. I appreciate that. Thank you, mods, for all you do, and thank you, everyone, for watching. With that, I'm going to say, always remember, with everything going on, keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. I know you guys already do that. That's why we call you and call each other on the channel swivel heads. And I always do remember, one of the biggest problems in our world is hatred. Also, lack of faith. But, guys, as light dispels dark, and I got my stage lights there, you can see them. As light dispels dark, love dispels hate. It's about to shine your love light in the world. But I'm going to say thank you for watching, and